we'd like to welcome all of our board members and our guests. We're happy to have you with us today again. And hope everybody has survived all the cold and hope it's over for a while and maybe we can all get back to some sort of normal situation, scheduling. I don't really like having to be off because of the weather. I mean, if you had a pretty day, you could be off, that would be one thing. But when you have to take off because it's so nasty, you can't do anything. Give what you give on this.
Thank you for taking care of us. And just declare we have a good meeting today. And we get the dishes in all clarity and accuracy and energies. And I thank you, Lord God, for our health and well-being. And I speak wellness to the families in Jesus' name.
Francis Hand.
Present.
Michelle Hayes. Present. Laura Morrow. Present. Geneva Jones. Absent. Tequila Hamilton. Here. Eliza Jill Abear.
Here.
Carolyn Robichaud. Present. Ira Weber.
Present.
7 board members present, 1 absent, and there is a quorum.
Okay, do we have any issues to the agenda? Do you have any issues?
I have a few things to talk about in executive session.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, you can't just talk about things in executive session unless they're on the agenda for executive
Can I add?
session. And we need to give 24 hours, it depends on what it is. Some things we have to give 24-hour notice
Only
for.
item that's on executive session on your agenda, you'll see is the deliberation of cases, and also a lawsuit that we received since the last board meeting. So if it's outside of that scope,
No,
we need
it
to
would-
see if the board wants to add it to the
It would
agenda.
be basically that concern.
The lawsuit?
If
Okay,
you
that's
look
all.
under new business,
Okay.
item 10, if
Okay.
you look under new business item 10, that is the lawsuit we received.
Thank
I know this is your first opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
If not, if there are no additions, I have a
I make a motion to accept the revised agenda.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Has everyone had a chance to go over the February 3rd minutes? Do we have any corrections? If not, do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Make a motion to accept.
I said it.
All in favor? Opposed? Move to our guest school.
Ms. Hand, we have with us this morning representatives from the Lafourche Parish School Board. And Debbie, if you'd like to explain.
In December, at the December board meeting, you all gave them permission to open as long as they moved the classrooms to the same side of the building and get 2 instructors, and that they can only do a maximum of 500 hours. So he's here with the blueprints to show y'all that he moved the building, the classroom, and that y'all
Basically, we followed your recommendations. I don't know if you'd love to see this. Originally, we had the classroom in this area right here. Sure. I made the recommendation that we move the classroom to the side right here. So we made that revision. We put a doorway leading from the classroom into to the lab. Also, what we did was we put a means of egress to the outside of the building. So clients could possibly come to the exterior door, ring a bell, get inside the building. We also installed a canopy over the top of the doorway with a sidewalk leading to the main entrance.
Took care of it.
Yes, ma'am. It took a little bit, but it wasn't that big of a deal.
It'll be better, more contained.
Sure.
They'll find it.
Yeah, which is where it was best for you. I think there's a way you can.
I make a motion that we accept the new revisions.
I second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Thank you.
There you go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
All right, thank you. Well, we're moving forward. We have piles in the ground, and construction is proceeding well, despite all the weather.
So do you have your instructors yet? No. Okay, so we're just going forward with this.
Right now, we're not projected to open until August 2015, so we have a little time.
We have people who've been calling, inquiring about the positions, but we have not hired any insurance.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, the next items on the agenda are the hearings that are in executive session. So it would be appropriate for a board member to make a motion to go in executive session.
Well, these are new hearings. Usually you go into an executive session to deliberate, but the hearing is conducted in open session.
Okay, you want your hearing in open session? Okay. So anyone ask Ms. Morris if she's ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm just flipping through. I think there was one matter included on the agenda that actually was not set for today, and I'm trying to identify that one. We have, out of the 17 that are on the agenda, only 2 of the respondents are here. And so I'd like to proceed with those first so they don't have to wait. Make a motion and move those on the order.
We need to? Do we need to do that?
Yes, let me just see if I can find the one that wasn't set for today. I thought I knew which one it was. They are here? We have 2 of the appellants here. These are appeals.
Just take your time.
Do you want to look at the LAC seminar while we're waiting for her to find it? If it's going to take a minute, I just,
Okay. I don't know, I think I do have them all set for today. If I find that there was one that was not set for today, we'll just put it on the agenda. for the
Yeah,
next meeting.
no problem.
I will go check outside again, but last time I checked, the matter that's number 5, docket number 13A335, that appellant is here. I'm sorry. M. Lock Lee, docket number 13055 is present. And also P. Dan Nguyen, docket number 13A071 is present.
Okay, so I is not present, right?
Correct. So I would like to take those out of order since they were here timely, and I'll have to go check and see if anybody else is here.
So I think, Ms. Hamilton, your motion is to allow Ms. Morris to reorder the hearings on the agenda to accommodate the presence, to take those first that are present.
that is my motion.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No one else is here, and just if I could advise the board, all of the matters that are for hearing today are on the docket because the individuals appealed an order denying their application by the staff. So the ones,
That's a student application.
the student enrollment application was denied by the staff. And so if there's a denial of your application, you have the opportunity to appeal. So all of these individuals listed on the agenda filled out a form saying, I want to appeal the decision. The ones that did not appear, I would move to dismiss their appeals.
Okay, and I think, Ms. Morris, the notices that you sent that goes with those hearings are the ones you dismissed. You maybe want to put those in evidence because those notices show, do they not, failure to appeal or result in the dismissal of your appeal? Okay, so for the record, your motion is to, the record should reflect that the time is,
After 9 o'clock, it's 9:10.
okay, it's 9:10, and that these matters were noticed for hearing at 9 o'clock today. And so, why don't you state for the record the ones you want to dismiss for failure to appear, and then we'll put in evidence, you put in evidence all those notices of the ones you dismissed.
Okay, start with docket number 13A002, Land Win. A notice was sent to Land Win after receiving a request for an appeal. The request for appeal was received on February 6, 2014. It is marked as Exhibit H1. Marked as Exhibit I1 is the board's letter indicating that they received the appeal, and I2 is the order setting the appeal for hearing. And the notice says, the 10th day of March at 9 a.m. at this address, 11622 Sunbelt Court, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 70809. It was sent by certified mailer.
Okay, is there a motion by a board member
Make the motion.
to dismiss for failure to appear? And that's docket number 13-A-002, the case of Land Team Win.
Yeah, make that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
The next matter, number 13A005, when due, the board received a request for an appeal and then sent. The request for appeal is marked as Board Exhibit I1. Marked as Board Exhibit J1 is the board's notice enclosing an order, and J2 is the board's order setting for hearing on March 10th, 2014 at 9 a.m. at this address, a hearing of the appeal. I move to dismiss the case.
Make a motion to dismiss the appeal.
I
On
second.
docket 13A005.
I second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Docket number 13A007, Thane v. Wynn. The board received a request for an appeal. It's marked as Board Exhibit H1. The board sent a letter marked as Board Exhibit I1 to Thane Wynn at the address of record, enclosing the order setting the hearing for March 10th, 2014 at 9 a.m. at this location. That notice was sent by certified mail and was received by someone at that address with an illegible signature. I move to dismiss.
Make a motion to dismiss docket number 13A007, failure to appeal.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
In docket number 13-011, the board received a request for an appeal from Ku Tao. That request is marked as Board Exhibit H1, marked as Board Exhibit I1, is the board's letter acknowledging receipt of the appeal and enclosing the order, which is marked as Board Exhibit I2. The order states the hearing would be conducted on March 10th at 9 a.m. at this location. That was sent by certified mail, and there is a certified mail return receipt, which was signed on February 11th. I move to dismiss.
Make a motion to dismiss docket number 13A011 for failure to appeal.
I second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I think, did you say 011? Because I think that was the one we did last time. Aren't we on 012 right now?
No,
Okay.
011.
Sorry.
It's okay.
The numbers are all listed. In the matter of docket number 13A012, Nan Ho, the board received a request for an appeal. That request is marked as Board Exhibit H1.
board sent a letter marked as Exhibit I-1, acknowledging receipt of the appeal, setting the and enclosing an order setting the matter for hearing. The order states that the hearing would be conducted on the 10th day of March 2014 at 9 a.m. at the board's offices. That's marked as Board Exhibit I-2. Marked as Board Exhibit I-3 is the certified mail receipt showing that the mail was delivered to the address of record on February 11th, 2014. I move to dismiss this matter.
Make a motion to dismiss docket number 13A012 for failure to appear.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
And docket number 13A020. The board received a request for an appeal. Which is marked as Board Exhibit H1. On February 10th, the board sent a letter marked as Board Exhibit I-1, acknowledging receipt of the appeal request and enclosing an order setting the matter for hearing. The hearing was, the Board Exhibit I-2 is the order setting the matter for hearing today on the 10th day of March 2014 at 9 a.m. at the board's offices. That was sent certified mail, and it was received at the address of record on, it looks like February 11th. The certified receipts are marked as Board Exhibit I-3, and I would move to dismiss the matter since the appellant is not here.
I make the motion that we dismiss the docket number 13A020 for lack of attendance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
In docket number 13A026, the matter of Juan Trunnion, the board received a request for an appeal. That request is marked as Board Exhibit H1. The board sent a letter dated February 10th, 2014, acknowledging receipt of the appeal and setting the matter for hearing and enclosing the hearing order, which is marked as Board Exhibit I-2. The hearing order reads that the hearing would be conducted on the 10th day of March 2014 at 9 a.m. at the board's offices. That was mailed certified mail and was received at that address on February 11, 2014. That is marked as Board Exhibit I-3. I would move to dismiss.
Make a motion to, in regards to docket number 13A026, to dismiss for failure to appear.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
And docket number 13A030, the board received a request for an appeal on or about February 3rd, 2014. That request is marked as Board Exhibit H1. On February 3rd, 2014, we actually received it the same day that we mailed our new, it was received on February 3rd, which is the same day of the staff's denial. And then there was a letter sent on February 10th acknowledging receipt of the appeal, which is marked as Board Exhibit J1, and enclosing the order setting the matter for hearing. The order setting the matter for hearing sets the matter for the 10th day of March 2014 at 9 a.m. at this address. That is marked as Board Exhibit J2. J3 is the certified mail receipt showing that the mail was signed for by Hong Tu, the appellant. I move to dismiss this matter.
Make a motion in the matter of docket number 13A030 that we dismiss for failure to appear.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
In docket number 13A035, I would request that this matter be continued I was waiting for some paperwork from a school board for verification. So I'd like to continue that one to March 31st.
Make a motion that we continue docket 13A025 at the request of Sherry Morris, the board's attorney, to March 31st of 2014.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, and docket number 13A040, the board received a request for an appeal. That request is marked as Board Exhibit H1. On February 10th, 2014, the board sent a letter acknowledging the receipt of the appeal request and enclosing an order setting the matter for hearing. The order provides that the hearing would be set for the 10th day of March 2014 at 9 a.m. at this address that is marked as Board Exhibit I2, marked as Board Exhibit I3 of the certified mail. Receipts for the letter and the order, and they were signed by HUE, and the name is printed HT, which matches the appellant's name somewhat, QT Win. And that was received on February 18, 2014. That's marked as Board Exhibit I3. I would move to dismiss this matter.
Make a motion regarding docket number 13A040 to dismiss for failure to appear.
Second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
On about February 3rd, 2014, the board received a request for an appeal in the matter of Monty Top, which is docket number 13A043. The request for appeal is marked as Board Exhibit H1. On February 10, 2014, the board sent a letter, which is marked as Board Exhibit I1, acknowledging receipt of the appeal request and enclosing an order setting the matter for hearing. The order sets the hearing for the 10th day of March 2014 at 9 a.m. at the board's offices. That's marked as Board Exhibit I2, and that was sent by certified mail to the address of record. The appellant is not here, and I would move to dismiss that matter.
Make a motion in regards to docket number 13A043 that we dismiss for failure to appear.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Docket number 13A045. The board received a request for an appeal that is marked as Board Exhibit H1. On February 14th, the board sent a letter acknowledging receipt of the request for appeal and enclosing an order setting the matter for hearing. The order reads that the hearing would be conducted, this is regarding Mai Ho Yen Wu, on the 10th day of March 2014 at 9 a.m. at the board's offices. That order is marked as Board Exhibit I2. It was sent by certified mail as evidenced by Board Exhibit I3. The appellant is not here, and therefore I would need to dismiss the appeal.
Make a motion in regards to docket number 13A045 that we dismiss for failure to appear.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Next matter, the appellant is present today, and I believe will require the assistance of the interpreter, and that's docket number 13A055. The appellant's name is Lockley. This morning, I met with Lockley, and she provided me some additional documents, which we would like to put in the record. So I'm going to ask Ms. Lockley to sit up here. I made copies. I would like to have our interpreter sworn in.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that the interpretation that you're about to give will be true and accurate to the best of your ability, so help you God?
Yes.
Can we just state the interpreter's name for the record?
No water.
He
use your name, sir.
My name is Min Nguyen. I'm lovely spouse. I'm okay to translate for if I need.
Unfortunately, it has to be someone who's not related to, it's gotta be a neutral translator, so we have to provide a translator. So we appreciate your volunteering, but under the rules, we have to have somebody who's not a family member or a friend, it's gotta be a neutral party to translate. So thank you.
We might need some information from him and he won't require an interpreter, but I'll let him, I'll call him as the next witness.
Okay, tell me what your name was again?
Min Nguyen.
Minguyen?
MINH. H is silent.
I got pretty close, huh? Okay.
This is a matter, tell me when I need to stop so we can interpret. This is the matter, docket number 13A055, which has come before the board previously. During a prior hearing, there were exhibits that were admitted, which include the appellant's application for manicuring school, and a diploma from L.W. Higgins High School. And a high school diploma from L.W. Higgins High School.
She said it's not her.
I'm just giving an introduction, then I will ask her some questions about it. Also included in the evidence presented in the prior hearing was a certificate of no records of such a diploma from the Jefferson Parish School Board.
It's a number.
There was the next page.
I think it's.
Made copies of those exhibits for the board, but they were already in evidence, and I'd like to offer those when appropriate. After the previous hearing, the board issued findings of fact, conclusions of law, and an order denying this original application. Ms. Lockley was not present for that hearing. After the board's January 13, 2014 order was issued denying the application, the board received a second student enrollment application from the same individual. The second application included different documentation of education from the first. Due to the conflict in the two applications and the failure of Ms. Lockley to appear at the hearing, the staff denied the second application and advised Ms. Lockley that she could appeal that denial. Ms. Lockley did appeal that denial, and she is here today to explain to us about the application. At this time, I'd just like to provide copies of the board exhibits through F1, which were the exhibits already admitted and considered in the prior meeting.
So you want to call that board something in Globo or just?
They have the same labels,
Okay.
however you prefer.
So it's board exhibits for the record, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7, A8, A9, A10, board exhibit B, board exhibit C1, board exhibit D1, D2, E1, and F1. So are you offering those now?
They're already in the record at the same docket number. I'm just providing copies of the record.
So is there any objection, Ms. Ward, does Ms. Lockley have any objection to these records being admitted?
I'm gonna get to that in a minute.
So these are the exhibits from the prior hearing when she wasn't here. So what the board needs to know is, does she have any objection to us putting these in evidence?
We are talking about F1 exhibit.
A1 through F1.
Mấy cái đó là mấy cái năm trước không? Mấy cái trước đều đó là chúng tôi cho được làm đó.
Maybe if I ask her some questions.
She doesn't know.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Okay, so these are admitted.
Miss Lee, you want me to swear her?
Oh, yes, please.
Miss Lee, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Okay, did she understand? Did she?
You translate for her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you understand that, or do you need a translator? Okay.
Miss Lee, when we met this morning, I showed you this document which has been marked as Board Exhibit D. Is this your signature?
No.
Did you write the information on this application?
No.
the application says L.W. Higgins. Do you know where L.W. Higgins is? Did you go to school at L.W. Higgins? I'm going to show you a diploma that I also showed you this morning. It has your name on it.
No.
Have you ever seen that diploma before this morning? Did you provide that diploma to the school?
No.
Was it your intent to register to be a manicuring student at a school here in Louisiana?
Yes.
Are you licensed as a manicurist in another state?
Yes.
And what other state is that?
It's us.
Did you go to manicuring school in Texas?
Yes.
What's the name of the school that you went to in Texas?
Oscar Beauty College.
Austin?
All-Star. All-Star.
So this diploma, though it appears to have your name on it, does not belong to you. Is that correct? Do you have your high school diploma with you today? Okay. Can I show it to the board members? Can I?
Yes.
Okay. I've made a copy of the diploma, and I'd like to mark that as board exhibit. Board exhibit J, because my other exhibits are pre-marked. I just made a copy so I could get the first back. You don't have a copy. And I'd like to mark it as board exhibit J and offer it the copy of the diploma. Just J.
Ms. Ward, does Ms. Lee have any objection to her diploma being in evidence as board exhibit J?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
she
she'll
has,
agree.
she wants it in evidence, okay. So, Ms. Lee, can you make a ruling on board exhibit J?
We will accept.
Okay. And I'd like to introduce a copy rather than the original so that Ms. Lee can have her diploma back.
She says she has the translation in English.
Did you see? I'm sorry.
Ms. Lee, did you have your Vietnamese high school diploma translated? And you brought a copy of the translation today with you?
Yes.
Okay. This time I'd like to offer what's been marked as Board Exhibit H2, a copy of an evaluation of Ms. Lee's diploma from Span Tran Evaluation Services.
Ms. Ms. Ward, does Ms. Lee have any objections to translation being in evidence?
No objection.
Okay,
Let me get her back.
so you're ruling on board exhibit H2
Yes.
is,
Accepted.
okay.
Ms. Lee, when did you provide this translation to the cosmetology school?
Sorry.
When did you provide the translation to the cosmetology school?
Nhưng mà nó có anh biết học là
Mr. Nguyen, I'm sorry, you can't. There'll be a time, I think when Ms. Morris wants to ask you questions, but right now you gotta stay out of it, okay?
She provided this information first when they said that her diploma is not, the paper she applied at the school is not correct. So she applied it in Vietnamese first.
Okay, so you were informed by the school that your application had been denied?
Trường thông báo với em là hồ sơ hồi đọc em từ chối.
Dạ không, em nhận được đây. Đó, em nhận được em. Dạ, nó là cái gì mà không có, không phải là nó là một cái gì mà nó không phải là em thì em nói là trường, cái trường của em gọi là một đưa cái này, còn nó đưa cái này lại cho trường được đúng không? Dạ, lúc nào em cũng đưa cái này nhưng mà trường là em sao em không có biết, em chỉ đưa cho trường này thôi.
She receives the deny from the state board, not from school.
She what?
She receives the deny application from the state board, not from school.
When you say you received a denial from the state board, is that the mail that you received from the board?
Yes.
After you received mail from the state board, did you then provide your diploma to the cosmetology school?
Nhưng mà sau khi em được làm thì một bằng này cho trường.
Không, em nộp trước rồi. Em nộp cái này trước. Em đi học,
Biết đầu đi học. She provided this Vietnamese certificate to the school from the beginning when she applied to school.
Who did you provide this diploma to?
Em nộp cái bằng này cho ai ở trường?
cô Mai.
Mai. Miss Mai.
Do you know Miss Mai's last name?
Đọc. D-A-N-G.
Have you attended cosmetology school?
Em đi học.
Lúc đầu là em được tiền xong rồi đi học. Trường nói là trường rồi cái xong rồi tôi đi. Rồi nó trường rồi cho em. Nhưng mà em đi học rồi em lại còn không thấy. Trường học rồi dạ rồi. Rồi em đợi nhưng mà em không thấy là em nghĩ. Em không có đi học nữa. Trường nói khi nào hồ sơ xong rồi em đi học đấy. Em đó thì em đi học.
She attended school and she waiting for student ID. She had not got that, so she stopped.
Is this your signature on the hearing request? I'd like to offer and introduce Board Exhibit H1, which is Ms. Lee's hearing request.
Okay, so does Ms. Lee have any objection to H1 being in evidence?
No.
Okay, we accept.
Did you receive this document marked as F1A in the mail?
Yes.
Did you receive this document marked as G1 in the mail?
Yes.
Okay. This time I'd like to offer board exhibits F1A, what's been marked as F2, F3, F4, which is the mail receipts that go with that letter, and G1, G2, and G3, the documents that the witness identified that she received from the board.
Okay, so Ms. Ward, does Ms. Lee have any objection to these items being in evidence?
She asked, it's objection doesn't mean she doesn't understand that agree for you to put in the exhibit. She doesn't understand the process.
But can the board see those exhibits and keep them for their record?
No objection.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have any more questions for Ms. Lee, and I would the board in case you have any questions.
So what Ms. Morris is saying is that, is the time for any board members to ask any questions of Ms. Lee if the board members have questions.
What is the,
Okay, so state your name for the record and just, you know, I'm Michelle Hayes, and my question.
I'm Michelle Hayes, board member. My question is, when was the original application to school? When did she originally want to go to school?
May
2013?
Yes.
What was the answer?
May 2013.
What Ms. Ward said was May of last year, and then she said, yeah. 2013, she said, yeah.
Jill Hebert, does she want to go back to school and complete her?
Yes.
The board doesn't have any questions. I would call Miss Lee's husband, and I don't know his name, but.
Okay.
Minden.
But, I guess Ms. Morris, Ms. Lee would have an opportunity now, because you had her on direct, so she has an opportunity to make a statement if she wants to make it at this time in response to the questions you asked. So, Ms. Ward, does Ms. Lee have any statement she wants to make or anything she wants to tell the board now about this matter?
She doesn't want to go to school and provide this the diploma in the name to go to school, and then now everything that happened like this, she doesn't understand.
Okay, start over. I didn't understand the first part you said.
She wants to go to school, and then she applied the diploma from the name here, and then everything happened like this. She doesn't understand.
Okay. Okay, does she have anything else she wants to say?
She doesn't want to go to school, so she can be certified here to practice.
Ms. Morrow, does she have anything else she wants to say?
No.
Okay, Ms. Morrow has indicated that she has a question for Ms. Lee. Does Ms. Lee or Ms. Morris have any objection to Ms. Morrow asking Ms. Lee a question?
No objection.
Is she agreeable to Ms. Morrow asking her a question?
Yes.
I'm Laura Morrow, board member. My question is, do you want to attend the school that you previously tried to apply to? Do you want to go to that same school with a new application? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes.
You translate it wrong. You have to translate it that you want to go back to that school.
Yeah, the same school.
Because if you want to go back to that same school, you have to translate it, she already been to that school. Does she have to go to that school to start over again?
Okay, okay.
But she have to translate so she understands to
Well, I don't think that's what she asked for.
No, she doesn't
didn't
have
ask if she wanted to go to start. Okay, so, Mr. Nguyen, why don't you just wait until it's your turn to testify, okay? Because your interpretation of what the question is not what the question was.
Oh,
Okay? All right, anybody else have anything, do you have anything else you want to say right now, Ms. Lee? Okay, Ms. Morris, do you have another witness?
I'm gonna call Mr. Min Nguyen.
Okay, good.
He's ready. Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, to help you God?
I do.
Mr. Nguyen, are you the spouse of Lockley?
Yes, we've been married for 3 years, and we have a child.
Okay. And did you assist her in applying to cosmetology school?
Yes, well, not really assisted, but I do talk to her to it, but that's what she know how to do in Vietnam.
Okay. Are you a cosmetologist?
No, I work for a refinery company. That's have nothing of my field.
Okay. So, were you aware of the paperwork that Ms. Lee presented to the cosmetology school to get enrolled?
No, I don't know how to process the paperwork. I don't know anything about that.
Okay. Did you review any of the mail that she got from the board?
Oh, I do. I'm not saying that I get all the mail. I got some of the mail from board, I do look over it, yes.
Okay. And so did you try to help Ms. Lee in understanding what this mail was saying to her?
Yes, I did explain, I say, wife, you have a problem here, you have to.
Where's man?
If I get all upset, I might get slapped, so I say,
Yeah.
wife, we have a problem here. The state board would, deny you for some reason here, you have to bring it to the school, explain to them what happened, and they have to take care of it. And so all the mail come in, we send it to school, the school, and then we keep waiting until today. It didn't do anything for us.
Were you aware of where Ms. Lee went to high school before this process started?
What do you mean, what, school here or in Vietnam?
In high school, like elementary and high school, where did she go to school?
She went to school in Vietnam.
Okay.
I know.
And you were aware of that when she enrolled to go to cosmetology school?
I aware that she went to school in Vietnam, but I don't know what the requirement the school need for her to survive. That's I don't know. But I know when she come home and ask her, honey, where did I put my paperwork? Did I show her where it is? But what document does she need? I don't know.
Okay, but you assisted her in locating her diploma from Vietnam that she has with her today.
I tell you the truth, because I grew up in the United States. I came here when I was at 14, 15, when I graduated from here. So I don't really know what the diploma look like. She said, go help me look my diploma. I said, what's it look like? Tell me. So I show where it is and see, okay, today I know what that look like. Before that, today I don't know what it look like.
This diploma from L.W. Higgins, had you ever seen that diploma before?
Mm-mm.
Did you know whether Ms. Lee ever attended L.W. Higgins?
No, she only came here 3 years ago.
So,
You say that 2002? No.
okay, so she wasn't in this country in 2002.
No.
Okay. Do you have anything that you want to tell the board about this situation that might make it clearer for them as to what happened?
Yes, if I may, please. I brought my wife to this country. All we wanted to do is go to work and provide for both of her family and our son. So this, tell you the truth, she doesn't speak that well. If she go and look for, go to school and learn English and then look for another job, it takes some process. But cosmetology, she already know how. So that's what she do well, to make money, to make a living. So I'm just asking you to make understand, we are the victim. Whatever the school did, we don't know. We provide whatever the school, we pay the tuition, we provide the paperwork, and whatever the school did, we didn't have no knowledge of that. But they promised us, okay, we'll take care of it, until today. I said, if we don't go up, you might never have a chance to tell what's going on. You have to go up, you can't just wait for the school. What if the school don't do anything, but they tell you they do, what's going to happen? I'm just asking you to give her the opportunity so she can realize and go to work. Because we just depend on each other and we go to work, we buy our family, that's all we wanted. Just like, we just want to live American dream. Everybody did the same, we don't want to depend on others, the system, we just want to depend on ourselves to go to work. I'm just asking you to understand that, please.
I have a question. Jill Abear, board member. Was she going to school for cosmetology and nails, or just nails?
Just nails.
Just nails. Oh, I just wanted to get that clear.
Do you live here in Baton, Francis Hand, do you live here in Baton Rouge?
No, we live in Lake Charles.
Lake Charles.
Yes. Well, first we lived in Texas, we moved to Lake Charles over a year ago. Because of our livelihood, we have to travel and make it every day to go to school. May I ask one more thing, please? To the question earlier, when I'm getting yelled at by you guys. But I asked if she willing to go back to that same school, and I mean, I have to say, because she already finished twice from that school. She started in May. She going until because the school didn't record aloud. So I said, why are you going every day? Because it's like an hour, 45 minutes, each way. We're not live close here. I just say, okay, we'll just stop until let the school figure out what's going on before you go back. Until the school call and say, okay, the lawyer say, okay, you can go ahead and go back to school, and then they report you out. And so we're back to school in December, and then she still get a letter. So she did finish all her hours and all her classes, still getting the letter from the state board. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, because she already did it. If you happen to give her the opportunity, does she still have to go back to do her house again, or is this okay?
Question, the Francis hand. Do you know if she has hours reported to this board from the school?
No, we don't. If whatever, like the school supplies the hours, we don't know, but we know when she go to school. But the hours, the school, how the school do it, we don't know. That's the school system. We don't know how it works.
Jill, can you require those hours to show the board that she went?
Why? I can go.
Can you get the
Yeah, we can get
to
that.
be able to show the board that she went there and she finished?
Yes.
Or at least how many hours?
Or at least, some type of record.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, when the class is signed, the thing will show.
And what school did she go to?
William Payne Academy. Willie Williams. Yeah.
I have a question. Michelle Hayes, how did she come to choose that school?
Because there's Cosmotology, because of the school for now, it doesn't happen on their job. They don't have it.
Okay. Thank you.
Laura Morrow, do y'all know how many hours she has acquired at the school?
And 1 year, yeah. 250.
She had hours from another institution before applying for this one?
I think she was licensed in
Yeah.
Texas. She was licensed, she just wants reciprocity.
Thank you.
Okay, any more board members' questions for Mr. Nguyen? Ms. Morris, do you have questions for Mr.? No, you.
I don't have any.
And then he may, is there anything else you want to say, Mr. Nguyen?
I'm just beg you guys for mercy to understand, because for whatever mistaken what's going on, we have no law. We should go to school and we provide whatever is necessary for the school needs. That's it. We just ask for mercy and want to go to work, take care of family.
Okay. Ms. Morris, do you have any other witnesses?
I do not, at this time I would rest.
Okay. So the board rests. Ms. Lee, do you have any other evidence or any other testimony? Do you or your husband want to say anything else? Do you have any other witnesses? It's a lot of questions.
She says that the only is the diploma here that belong to her and here is not.
Okay. Okay, any board members have any questions of Ms.?
I have one. Did you ever take any type of test here at this board?
Does Ms. Lee have anything else that she wants to say, or any other evidence she wants the board to hear? No more witnesses? Ms. Morris, do you have anything else, any rebuttal, or anything else?
I don't have any rebuttal evidence, I would just like to make a brief closing.
Yes.
I have in my hand the second enrollment application for Lockley, together with the payment, the $10 enrollment fee, and the original translation. Though the SpanTran is not listed on our website as one of the approved translations, it is a translation that is recognized by NACAS and some other agencies. It was received by the board in a sealed envelope. So this is the application, the second application for the school. And even though you have denied the first application, this is what you're ruling on today, just the second application as to whether it is valid.
What's the date of it?
It was received by the board on November 12, 2013.
And that's in evidence, right?
I'm not sure it is.
We've got the translation, I just don't think we have the application.
I don't believe we do either, but this is the original, and I would offer the original application with all the attachments, including the fee.
Okay, all right. Does she have any objection to that being in evidence?
No objection.
Okay, you could give it a name or a number or something, the board would. Just from our, so we'll know.
Board Exhibit K.
Got it.
I don't want to mark the original.
Okay. Okay, I'll mark the post-it note.
It's not mine.
Who's not yours?
You want a post-it note?
Yeah, give me a post-it note.
Will accept.
Okay, Ms. Morris, anything else?
No.
Okay, does Ms. Lee want to make a closing statement? I think the board knows her position, but it's her one last chance to tell the board how she thinks they should rule.
She had the diploma in Vietnam, so she can want to stay for consider her situation, so she can come back to school to finish school and then the license.
All right. So, Ms. Morris, do you have any proposed findings, or is the matter being submitted to the board?
That is being submitted to the board. I did not prepare.
All right. Does the board want to go into executive session and consider this matter? Make a motion that we go into executive session concerning this.
All in favor?
Let's do a roll call vote.
Okay.
Tasha, can you call it? Francis Hand?
Yes.
Michelle Hayes. Yes. Laura Morrow.
Yes.
Tequila Hamilton.
Yes.
Jill Abear.
Yes.
Carolyn Robichaud.
Yes.
Ira Webb.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Opposed? Do you have a motion?
Okay, we're in the matter of the appeal of Lockley, docket number 13-A-055.
I'd like to make a motion to the board in regards to docket number 13A055. I'd like to make a motion that we reverse the board's denial of the application dated 11/12/2013 and allow for any documented hours earned 60 days prior to the date of that application.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You understand what we
Let's
did?
explain.
Yes.
We've allowed her application.
Yes.
Okay? And any hours you can document, 60 days prior to that, have them sent here to the board.
I have to go send all
The
the
school
hours.
has to send it.
Yes, we'll accept those hours.
60 days.
60 days prior to November 12th, but the school should know that. So,
60 days,
Prior to the application, 11/12/13.
okay.
She has two applications, the one that you all denied,
this one,
This is the one that
and
the
this
staff.
is the second one. So if she went to school 60 days prior to the first one, she can't use those hours. Make sure everybody understands.
right.
So prior, before,
12, 13,
That application.
okay, those hours.
She had the right diploma then.
September,
Okay.
October, November.
That application's accepted.
Any hours that she went before, I mean after that,
Oh, good.
No, after, good.
After good, before no.
after the 11/12.
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes, okay. I
Yeah,
get you.
after.
Thank you.
Okay.
Does he understand 60 days before is good too?
Yeah, 6 days before. and then
September,
after.
October,
Yes.
November.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So you need to get in touch with the school. They're gonna do
Know
it.
your wife, so she'll know.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes, please.
I have one that I can do in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, but I think somebody's got it.
Well.
We already held somebody.
All right, do five.
Yeah, we
Do
can.
it.
Item number I that we passed over and I asked to continue to a later date, now to the day. I don't know if I said that correctly, it's docket number 13A035. And I asked to be continued because I was waiting from some verification from the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board. She is here and she has the original diploma. I think there was just a problem because her first name is THAO and we have it as OA. And so when I had sent it for verification, it didn't match. We got a not match. And I think it was just an error. She did actually go to school in East Baton Rouge Parish. She has an actual diploma. She's got her transcript, a notarized copy. So I just want to dismiss that docket, which means that the board issued an order prior, and I'd like to rescind that order as well, because it was based upon an erroneous certification of East Baton Rouge.
Okay, so I think what Ms. Morris has said is based on evidence that she's learned. She's asking the board to reverse the staff denial of the application and to grant the student's original application that was dated,
In April or May
okay.
of 2013.
So you're
Her
asking.
application had the same documents both times, but I had this
We
denial.
had several people with that next, so, okay. So you want to reverse the staff's latest denial, and you ask the board to rescind its previous order and to give her student grant her student application status as of her first application. All right, that's what you're asking the board to do. All right. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion that we reverse the staff denial and rescind the previous order regarding docket 13A035 and accept the application.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ours are good. So,
Thank you.
would everyone like to take a 5-minute break?
Yes.
She can go back to school.
Okay. The next case that we have is also an appeal. It's in the matter of Dan Wynn. It's docket number 13A071, and Mr. Wynn is present with us today. He's going to require the assistance of an interpreter.
Ms. Ward, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that the interpretation that you will be giving today will be true and accurate to the best of your ability, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call Ms. Butler.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Butler, I just handed you a stack of documents, and the first page indicates it's for docket number 13A071. Are you familiar with docket number 13A071 and the paperwork that goes with it?
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, why don't you state your name for the record and your position of employment?
Tasha Butler, Louisiana State Board of Cosmetology, Administrative Program Specialist.
Okay. In a prior proceeding held before the board, were there exhibits admitted before the board as evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to look at board exhibits A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7, A8, board exhibit B1, C1, C2, D1, D2, and ask me, and advise me as to whether those are the exhibits that were admitted in the prior hearing.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay? Board exhibit E1, E2, and E3, can you explain what those are?
Yes, ma'am. E1 is a letter about the findings and facts and conclusions of law for the order in matter of 138071 Don Wynn. E2 is the actual findings of fact, conclusions of order, and E3 is the order itself.
Okay, turn to board exhibit F1, can you tell the board what that is?
F1 is a letter Mr. Don Wynn came to the office and wrote stating that he was requesting an appeal of the decision and that he needed an interpreter.
Can you identify board exhibit G1, G2, and G3?
G1 is a letter that we sent about the facts, findings of fact, conclusions of law and order of the board. G2 is the reconsideration hearing letter. And G3 is the certified mail receipt.
And that's the certified mail receipt for the notice of today's hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'd like to offer and introduce all the exhibits identified by the witness.
Ms. Ford, does Mr. Nguyen have any objection to these exhibits being considered by the board?
No objection.
Okay.
No accept.
I have no additional questions for Ms. Butler.
Any board members have any questions for Ms. Butler? Does Mr. Nguyen have any questions for Ms. Butler? Ms. Ford just asked me if he has any questions.
No question.
Okay. Ms. Morris, do you have any other witnesses?
I'm going to call the appellate, Mr. Dan Nguyen.
Ms. Ward, ask him to raise his right hand so she can swear in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Mr. Nguyen, I'm going to show you the document that's been marked as Board Exhibit T1. And ask you whether at the signature line, is that your signature?
Yes.
The information that is in blocks 1, 2, all the way through 9, did you write that information in?
Điền rồi không điền đây cái này là anh điền vào đây, anh điền cái đơn này đúng không? Chữ anh đây, anh điền vào đây nhé. Không phải anh điền vào cái đơn này không?
Cái này nhưng mà cái chữ ký.
Ký là đúng rồi. He didn't fill out here application about here, but that his signature.
Are you able to read what's been entered in these blocks?
Cái này cái là cái địa chỉ mình ở qua là địa chỉ cho cái tên số.
It is his name, it is the address he used before.
In block number 6, it says school last completed American Academy. Did you go to American Academy?
Anh làm cái trường này đúng không?
Yeah, nhưng mà chỉ have why stay trường của have chỉ tất cả là mình có thêm cái này.
Cô hỏi cô ấy là anh nghĩ anh đã học ở cái trường này đúng không? Yes.
Where is American Academy located?
Cái trường này nằm ở đâu?
Nằm ở Florida, cái tỉnh Florida.
On Florida.
Okay. The school in Florida, is that a manicuring school?
Trường này nằm ở Florida là trường làm nail.
Dạ cái tên là làm giải táp của cái đó.
Yes.
Okay. What did you study at the American Academy?
Thế còn anh đã học gì ở cái trường này? Trường American Academy này, anh học gì ở đây?
Anh vô thân làm công gì?
To study manicure.
Manicure. Okay. When did you move to the United States?
Sống lúc nào?
Năm 2006.
2006.
2006? This says you graduated from the American Academy in 1993.
Xong thì đơn này mình nói lại
Cái này
tốt nghiệp cái trường American Academy năm 1993.
không, cái này thì có cái này là tốt nghiệp gì?
He's 4 years, he doesn't know the year. He doesn't know.
Oh, sorry. I think that was just what goes there.
Did you go to school in Vietnam? What type of school?
Từ cứ Kingdom.
School name Kingdom.
Okay.
Kingdom?
Kingdom. K-I-M-E-O-N-G. That's the name of school.
How many years did you go to Kingdom?
Anh đi học ở trường Kingdom mới là bao nhiêu năm?
Em được 4
4 years.
Rồi cái trường trước là nó chuyển qua tiền học cả cấp 1 cũng được chuyển qua cấp 2. Yeah.
Oh, Kingdom is a middle school. Before that, he went to elementary school.
Did you graduate from Kingdom?
Tốt nghiệp của trường. Yes.
Do you have any records to show that you graduated from Kingdom?
Anh có cái giấy tờ gì bằng chứng minh là anh đã tốt nghiệp của trường Kingdom?
Giấy tờ thì hồi trước tiên nó có cái ví dụ cái giấy mấy cái hồ sơ giấy rồi thi như này đó. Nhưng mà anh đừng mượn giấy thì nó đi lao quá mượn lại đã có cần thiết chỉ nghĩ không có cần thiết của Mỹ thì không có cần thiết. Còn cái này mới gửi qua thôi.
He doesn't bring here. He left in Vietnam.
Okay, what is that document right there? What is that document?
It's different to finish the middle school.
Right, ask
him, what is that?
Đây các bạn nghe tất nghiệp và đây cũng
Yeah, this is a diploma to finish the middle school.
And after you finished middle school, you went to a different school?
Sau khi tốt nghiệp trường này thì anh có đi học trường gì?
không có học cái loại nhưng mà thực ra không học thì tới được 10 nhưng mà không có học nổi không học nổi học
Nó
nổi.
học hết tiếng
Dạ, dạ.
cấp 2 này thôi. No.
Do you have a translation of this diploma?
Không được.
No.
Have you ever seen this document that is marked C1 before?
Cấp 3. Tốt nghiệp ở Mỹ. No.
No. Are you licensed as a manicurist in any other state?
Anh có cái bằng Yes. In California.
Okay. Is this Board Exhibit C2 a copy of your California license?
Đây có phải là có đi bằng neo anh cái đi. Yes.
Did you give this diploma to anyone at the cosmetology school?
Anh có đưa cái bằng này cho ai ở trường học làm nail?
Không có các bạn, em không có biết cái này.
He doesn't know that. He doesn't know.
Biết cái này.
Did you enroll in a cosmetology school to become licensed in Louisiana as a manicurist?
Okay, anh một cô học ở trường học làm nail ở Louisiana.
Không, tại vì không phải là đang học ở trường, nhưng mà hồi trước đó là định đi học, đi qua làm chỗ khác, rồi nói là đổi các bạn có được bằng ở Louisiana rồi mới đổi được cái đó, còn bằng cái ly đổi không được. Thì dưới đây đó tất nhiên là mình có
Không, cô hỏi trả lời câu hỏi. Tức là câu hỏi là anh có nộp đơn vào học làm nail ở trường ở Louisiana được không?
không. Louisiana em chỉ có đổi trên TV này, lấy cái bằng cái ly đổi qua cái bằng.
Thì anh không nộp đơn vào học.
Không cho đổi ngang thôi, nhưng mà học chỉ có 1 ngày 2 ngày thôi. Nếu mà em đã học
Ms.
từ
Ward,
nếu mà em học
let me just stop you on that. Ms. Morris, let's start over. Ms. Morris asked the question. Ms. Ward, you repeat the question in English, and whatever he says, you tell the board that. You don't answer anything back.
Yes.
Okay, so Ms. Morris, you want to start over with that and ask your question.
Did you enroll in a cosmetology school to become licensed as a manicurist in Louisiana?
Anh có đăng ký học về làm nail ở trường đi làm để hành nghề làm nail ở Louisiana có phải? Anh đăng ký học ở trường làm nail để hành nghề có để được hành nghề làm nail ở Louisiana có phải?
là học cái trường của mình.
Ms. Ward, tell us what he says.
He doesn't understand the question.
But then you say that. Then you say he doesn't understand the question. That's what he says. You got to repeat exactly his words back.
That he's an aspect to me that he's applied into school. He applied into school. Your question.
Did you go to school in Louisiana to learn manicuring?
Anh đã đi học đến trường học làm nail ở Louisiana, học làm nail có đúng không? Yes.
When did you go to school in Louisiana?
Khi nào anh đã đi học làm nail ở trường Louisiana?
Nhớ là anh nghĩ là tháng 1, tháng 12, tháng 1 gì?
Năm nào?
Năm 2012.
12.
Ms. Ward, you gotta listen to me. When he says something back to you, you repeat that to us. You don't answer it.
It's about January, December 2012.
Okay. All right.
Who did you speak to at the cosmetology school about enrolling?
Anh nói chuyện với ai ở trường học trường thẩm mỹ đấy để đăng ký học?
Chỉ có là một cô Mai.
Mai.
Còn
Did Mai complete this information, your name, address on the form?
Cô Mai cô điền đơn vào đây cho anh đúng, cô muốn học đây cho anh đúng. Có thông tin này là cô Mai cô điền vào cô đúng không?
còn cái này là cái địa chỉ của thầy. Là cái này.
Yes, and then this is his address.
Who was your teacher at the cosmetology school?
Ai là cô giáo, ai là giáo viên dạy anh ở trường?
Chỉ có cô.
Only Mai.
Do you know how many hours you went to classes at the cosmetology school?
Ở trường đấy thì anh đã học 250. 250. Sorry, 250.
cho câu hỏi là cái câu hỏi này cho cô nói là sao, là cái trình độ của em là tại vì em học mới cái đó là em là
Can you repeat the question? He's that confused.
How many hours of class did you attend at the cosmetology school?
Cô hỏi là em đã đi học ở cái trường thẩm mỹ đấy bao nhiêu giờ? Thực tế em đã học bao nhiêu giờ?
em không biết bao nhiêu giờ nhưng mà chỉ có em học là được mấy tuần thôi, rồi sau đó em không có, em thấy lâu quá rồi em bỏ, rồi em
He doesn't know how many hours. He said he went through a few weeks and then he quit.
I don't have any further questions for Mr. Wynn.
Any of the board members have questions?
I'm confused a little bit. The American Academy, is that a manicurist school or nail school? Is that a high school? Is that, what kind of school is that? Middle school, American middle school? I mean, what do they teach at American Academy?
Do you want to show him this exhibit that you're asking about, that C1?
What do they teach at this school? I'm confused.
Người ta dạy anh đi đến cái trường này. Nên là trường tên là American Academy.
không biết cái thời gian này.
He doesn't know this paper.
He's never been there. Okay.
In connection with Mr. Wynn's testimony, I should have offered a copy of the diploma from the middle school that he produced this morning. Marked it as Board Exhibit H. And I gave him back the original.
Does he have any objection to Board Exhibit this diploma being in evidence?
Người ta là copy bằng ngoài và đưa vào cái sơ rồi xem xét. Nó thật đúng hay không? Người ta copy rồi. Nó không đúng không? No.
We'll accept.
Question. Jill Abear, board member. Has he ever gone to high school? High school. Never went to high school.
Anyone else have any questions?
Laura Morrow, in this middle school that you went to, what was the highest grade? 6, 7, 8?
Thì anh đã học hết, không hoàn thành đến lớp mấy.
Từng là
Nhưng ví dụ anh có cái bằng để
lớp
lớp
chín,
mấy?
chín.
Anh tốt nghiệp lớp 9. Grade 9.
Jill Abear, board member. Is that all they required in Vietnam, in Vietnamese? Is that all they required to go to school, was up to the 9th grade?
Ở Việt Nam thì người ta nhu cầu phải học đến hết lớp 9. Được cô hỏi ở Việt Nam thì người ta yêu cầu học hết lớp 9.
Đã có cần yêu cầu nhưng mà thì mình học được trên mình học thôi, thì mình phải nên học để mình
They not require you to study as much as you can. No requirement. That you mean you should study as high as you can.
One more question. Is the document from Vietnamese his diploma?
Đây có phải là thì bảo cái này có phải cái bằng của Việt Nam?
Chắc cái này là cái bằng có cái được.
Said yes.
Michelle Hayes, and we do not have a translation, correct? Does he have it translated?
Anh có cái bản dịch tiếng Anh cho cái bằng của cái bằng đây là bản tiếng Việt, anh có cái bản dịch tiếng Anh.
I have a question. Did the school ask him for a translation or to require a translation of his diploma in order to enter the school?
Thì cái khi chúng ta có yêu cầu anh là phải có cái bằng có bản dịch tiếng Anh thôi. Chúng ta yêu cầu anh như vậy.
Bên đây
Ở đây
anh không biết, tại vì anh cái lý quá đây là mình apply cho nó được biết.
he doesn't know because he just came here from California and then he applied.
One more question. Did you actually attend the school?
Let's go. Câu hỏi là
What school did you apply to?
câu hỏi là anh có thực tế là anh có đi học ở cái trường này không?
What's the name of the school?
Cái trường này
Nhưng mà kiếm được.
Kim Đồng.
Here. I meant in Louisiana, I'm sorry. Did you actually attend the school in Louisiana?
Anh có thực tế anh có đi học ở cái trường Louisiana này không? Làm nail.
What's the name of the school?
Cái trường này.
Đến chừng là tiếng quay cái gì nữa quay hay
Your school name Wyham.
cái đó nó cặp
Wyham. As I repeat what you said.
Manicure school.
có một cặp anh đường phong gì đấy.
Yeah.
Did he attend manicuring school in California?
Anh có đi học ở trường học làm nail ở làm móng ở California đúng không?
Chắc không.
Yes.
How many hours did he attend?
Anh học ở trường đấy là 30 giờ.
Xong
600.
Okay, thank you.
What's the name of that school?
Trường này.
là không nhớ nhưng mà nhớ một cô giáo là bởi người ở Úc là dạy với lại cái đường tên đường Monterey.
That school on the road named Monterey.
Một cô giáo chơi là Una người ở Úc.
The teacher, his teacher named Una Cohen.
Did they require a high school diploma in California?
No.
Anyone else have a question?
Okay, does Mr. Nguyen have any things he wants to tell the board? Response.
Thì em được lên em chỉ muốn qua đây thì không ai chuyện gì sao và em đám tới trường
So he doesn't want to go to school to get the certificate here, and he doesn't know what happened.
That's gonna be my question, do you know why you're here? Do you know why you have to appear?
Hồi hỏi là anh biết tại sao nghe thì đây là
em muốn chị nghe nói những cái gì với lại em muốn để nghe nó đã
you want to hear what happened, and you want to get the certificate.
You went to school in California. You had 600 hours of training there. Is that correct?
Anh đã đến anh đi học trường Mỹ ở California và học 600 giờ đấy. Đúng không?
Dạ đó.
Yes.
So does he have a license from California?
Anh có đăng Yes.
So if it's 600 hours, what did he apply for at that school? Reciprocity, more training? What was his purpose of enrolling in that school?
That you mean in California?
No, here.
Anh ấy học ở California rồi để sang mục đích của anh học ở đây là học trường Mel ở Louisiana là gì?
Thế vậy thì mấy kia có để em qua muốn đi qua làm với nó mình phải ở với nó mình có đi thì không gợi
He want to move here.
I'm sorry?
He want to move here.
He wants to move here. I would like to make a motion that we take a 5-minute recess, for the purpose of looking into the California license.
I think what she wants to do is see if the California, she wants to look at the California licensing law as far as to see if it requires 600 hours. Maybe we need to look at their statute or something.
You want to see the license?
It doesn't say the hours, does it? I think what Ms. Morrow's trying to figure out is she wants some proof, and maybe we can look at it from the California statute, if you need to have 600 hours to be licensed in
It has
California.
a 1-800 number that you can call.
Okay,
It's on your exhibit too.
all right, so,
So we can go out.
lots of times when you call these numbers, you're not getting it right.
They don't have a
Yeah.
They have a label.
Can we go on and get can we get the California statute? We don't have access to the other.
You want my iPad? You want my iPad? My iPad's right behind you.
Oh, he does? Yeah. You can't just take the gold book and
Oh, my goodness.
So you got the answer you wanted?
she just told me that they have to do this.
So that matters. All right, then it doesn't matter.
Are you okay?
Well, I just fill out the chair. Just fill out the chair.
You want me to look?
Huh? Well, I think what her inquiry was based on a false assumption, so that she doesn't think it's necessary. That's why. Yeah.
It's a country from anywhere.
Yeah.
If they don't take the national.
And I'm already giving it in California.
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so wait, all right, we're in recess. So y'all ready? You wanna go back in?
Well, we need to get that. That's the rule. Do we need to check if California has a national exam?
That would be a good idea.
Well, that's on that.
Or the
Year
token.
of that. Because Francis says it started recently.
Of the initial license. It doesn't say the initial.
They didn't always, Sherry, that's something new. That's California.
I can ask them when you got it.
Does anybody want to look at any of the exhibits or any chance? Well, it's about all you can do while you're in. Waiting.
Right, Possible, I'll be right there. She didn't tell me when.
It's going to work.
Yes, we're back.
We're broken.
I know, I fell out the chair.
It could have been broken.
I understand what you were doing, but yeah.
I didn't know what to do with it, but I thought they could have just done it. Testing.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in California. They was the 1st of January 2012. And they require 400 hours.
What was that date again? You said in 2012? Yes. They started.
NIC.
I'm good, Ms. Grace.
But then again, that's one
Okay,
of
let's
those.
done, let's done.
There she is.
Yelling, there I go yelling again.
She has a strong voice. Thinks they're mad. She's mad. I don't know. She says.
I don't realize, if I do talk loud, I don't realize it. Maybe I should get my hearing test. Sometimes they say, if you talk loud, you don't have hearing problems. But, I don't think I miss much in hearing well.
Wrong about the line coming today. Must come one day without me.
I found this recipe in this New Orleans magazine. It's for crawfish stuffed brisket. So you get this brisket, you get to cut a pocket. I don't know how to cut a pocket, so I have to put your stuff. Crawfish and onions and all kinds of stuff. And that's what I'll put in my brisket. So
That sounds very good.
but you have to,
I want to see that.
He only has one.
so that's what I'm putting in my recipe today. Then you have to cook it like 1 hour at one temperature, 4 hours at another temperature, 1 hour at another temperature.
So you stop it before you start the cooking process? No.
Yeah. So then you have to tie it all up and everything. I did that. And so then you put onions all over it, every which dish you hear, so I did all that. And so then I had to get my mother to sit in my house today. To change the temperature. So no telling what my house is gonna look like when I get home. Furniture might be moved around, things might be missing, you know. Usually something will be clean, so it's not bad.
Well, I was fixing to say, anytime I've ever gone like, mainly my granddaughter's, when she was in college, I'd go ahead and clean up. Wash clothes.
Yeah,
do
so
stuff
that's
like
probably not
that.
bad.
I'm guilty. My son's here now. He's married now. I really do it. Like this. I think I'm very important. I visit from Texas. I go in and stop at the grocery store before I get to the house and just get ready to love it. Before I go several meals.
So what are we waiting for? Sherry went to, she got to get the van.
She came here to tell me she wanted something. She then moved about that way.
I know she's
They often like said that she wanted some information to activate it.
I think we may in the manicure.
In the manicure.
Yeah, I think I've seen that in the morning. Check out
Yes, she did.
It's cold.
Always cold.
in here.
In here, in the car, it's warmer in the back. It's like the
And that's where most of the people are.
Tell me your name.
Okay, I think we're back on the record. I think the purpose for the break is that, Morrow wanted to look at California law and see if they did in fact require 600 hours, and a national test. And the answer that we found out is they only started requiring the national test as of January 1, 2012, and they don't require 600 hours for a manicuring license. They require 400 hours. So that was the purpose of the break, and that was what we learned in the meantime on that. So,
And in the meantime, I had a conversation, and he believes he graduated in 2007, possibly in California, but he can get the records. He has some of those records at his house, his diploma from that school with his picture and everything. And he can send that later, but he didn't bring it today.
okay, do you want to hold this record open, Ms. Williams, or do you want to continue this to see if there's any? I think what the concern is, under Louisiana law, you have to have a minimum of a 10th grade education to be able to go to manicuring school. And what his testimony has been today is he only went up to the 9th grade in Vietnam, and that's his problem. And so, then they were trying to see, well.
Can Ms. Ward translate?
Yes.
Lớp 9 là bạn từ trường phổ thông trung học là chính, còn cơ sở thôi, hoạt động cơ sở thôi, còn cái đó là trung học thôi, còn cái hai nữa là lớp 12 rồi cái đại học rồi là chữ quân rồi lấy.
What do you say?
They said that the 9th grade that in the high school.
The what now?
The end of high school? No, 9th grade in high school.
I really don't understand.
Okay.
I'm speaking to
Okay, so you're not sure what he said. So, I mean, maybe we need to get a translation, Ms. Mars, of this diploma to see.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so, because, I mean, I think everybody's trying to establish that he does have the qualifications?
Maybe off the record, he brought a neighbor with him, Mr. Scott, who's back here, and he might be able to, he's more familiar with the appellant, and maybe he could explain what he knows.
Mr. Scott, are you willing to testify?
No,
Huh?
no, just mean I translate for you.
You need a translator?
Yeah, I mean sometimes he tell me understand a little bit. I can translate over for you.
Oh, you translate for him.
Yes.
Why don't you come sit up here at this table? I think what the board wants to know, if you might know some information that can help the situation. Are you willing to answer some questions?
Me, I can translate for him a couple of ways and you talk to him.
Yeah, you can. We don't need you to translate for him.
Okay.
Do you know anything about his education? No. So.
Then I think she was saying she didn't understand.
Oh.
And he may speak a different dialect.
Okay.
Is what I think.
Can you
Thank
ask, Mr. Nguyen, did he go to any school after the school that he showed us the diploma? He gave us a middle school diploma. Did he go to any school after that in Vietnam?
Ninth grade for Vietnam.
Yeah.
Did he go to 10th grade?
Yeah. You
Ask him.
You can go có đi được thêm lớp 10 nữa không? Mình he finished on that grade, he goes.
I'm sorry, I really can't understand you either.
Okay. Ask him, did he go to 10th grade in Vietnam?
He said now he moved here, he can go to school there.
He said, no, he didn't, because he moved here.
Yeah, he live here now.
Discontinued school because he moved here to the U.S.
So we want to try and get that, yeah, I think we want to bend over backwards to make sure that we can establish a 10th grade education for him somewhere. So let's just continue this one, because that's the evidence that hurts him, is that he appears to only have a 9th grade education. But we don't have a translation of that diploma. So can we continue this to get the diploma? Now, he translated. Ms. Marston, you want to tell him where what service he needs to get it translated, that's something the board will accept? You know, so.
Because the 9th grade there might be 10th grade here.
I don't know.
That's something already required.
Right.
We just want to see, can we just, if we, all we want is a translation of that. Right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
You get cái translator của cha của cậu không? Có. Đưa qua xuống Mỹ. Rồi không có giờ mình đóng quay. I think he get one translator in English.
Yes.
Yes, in the car, I think.
Oh, you think he does?
Go get it. Cái mình cái translator có mang theo đó. I think he has it.
Okay, do you want to go look?
Có cái translator cái tiếng Mỹ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he has.
Okay, good. We'll take a break for him to go look.
I'm so sorry.
We have a couple other ones on here that you,
No, nobody else came. We
You wanna
dismissed
dismiss
everything.
them?
This is the last.
We didn't
already
dis-
dismissed-
we didn't have to read.
N and O and Q.
and
We didn't
Q.
just, you
Yeah, we
didn't
didn't do
dismiss
that.
it, no, we didn't.
Oh, you
Why
stopped
we do
it.
those?
When we.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me do, I don't know why I'm confused today. I went on vacation last week. Okay. And is the matter of QB. It's docket number 13A066. This matter is on the docket because we received a request for a hearing. The board received a request on or about February 6, 2014. It's marked as Board Exhibit H1. Board Exhibit I1 acknowledges the receipt of the appeal request, and also enclosed a board order, which is marked as Board I2, setting the matter for hearing on the 10th day of March, 2014 at 9 a.m. at the board's offices. According to my watch, it's 11:30, and I've not received any communication from Ms. Boyd. So I would request that we dismiss this appeal. That you dismiss this appeal.
I make a motion that we dismiss this appeal.
Failure to appear.
Failure to appear.
Have a second.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Docket number 13A-068 is on the agenda because the board received a request from Tom Kim Doe to appeal the board's denial of her application. It's Board Exhibit H1 is the hearing request. Board Exhibit I1 is the board's correspondence dated February 10, 2014 to Ms. Doe, advising her that the appeal request was received and that it was set for hearing in accordance with the enclosed order. Enclosed order marked Board Exhibit I2 is the order setting it for hearing on the 10th day of March 2014 at 9 a.m. And Board Exhibit I3 shows that the certified mailing of the order was delivered to the address of record on February 12, 2014. Again, it was noticed for 9 a.m. It's 11:30, and no one's received any communication from this individual. So I would move that the board dismiss docket number 13A-068.
Motion?
I'll make a motion in the matter of docket 13A-068 that we dismiss for failure to appear.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Okay.
Opposed? No opposition.
And item number Q on the agenda, Fee Win, docket number 13A-081. This matter is also on the agenda because the board received a request for an appeal of a staff denial of a student enrollment application. Board Exhibit G1 shows the written request for hearing. Board Exhibit H1 is the board's letter advising that the appeal request had been received and enclosing the board order setting the matter for hearing. The board order indicates that the matter is set for hearing on the 10th day of March 2014 at 9 a.m. at the board's offices. That is marked as Board Exhibit H2. That letter was mailed by certified mail to the address on record and was received at that address on February 11, 2014. It is more than 2.5 hours after the scheduled time of the hearing, and we've received no communication from the appellant. I move that this appeal be dismissed.
Motion?
Make a motion in the matter of docket number 13A-081 we dismiss for failure to appear.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And none of the ones we dismissed earlier, nobody ever showed up.
No, only the one I continued showed up.
Okay.
And she had her document. She had the document that I requested from the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board. So maybe they just mailed it to her address rather than the board address.
Okay.
I don't know how long it's gonna take. You want me to do that in Senate reference?
Yeah.
Ashley Romero was a young lady who was practicing without a license in a salon. She later went to school and did the requirements to qualify for licensing. So she's admitted the violation of practicing without a license, and based on this consent agreement, she's paid and fine and cost of $850, and when and if her license is issued, it's gonna be on probation for a year. The gentlemen, the people are back, so do y'all wanna just move on this one right now, and we'll do the other ones?
Yes. Make a motion to accept the consent agreement. Ashley, on Ashley Romero. Second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Somebody, can y'all try to find Sherry? Because we got the people back, we don't have, Sherry needs a minute. Okay. I'll tell you another one then. Bobel Limited doing business as Just Strings. Bobel Limited was one of those threading salons, and that had operated for a couple of 3 years without a license. We kept sending them cease and desist orders. Finally got in contact with, they're in Monroe, we finally got in contact with a lawyer, and they did get a license, and they paid a substantial fine for operating without a license, and their license was on probation. But on a there was one date on or about August 13, 2013, when the inspector was in there, and they did have an unlicensed operator doing threading. So they paid a fine and cost of $1,250, and we've extended their probationary period. Napoli, doing business as Napoli Hair and Nail Spa, is a manicuring salon in Sulphur, Louisiana. They had an unlicensed individual working as a manicurist there on January 14, 2004. And the cosmetologist who owns it, even though it's a manicuring salon, her name is Napoli. So what we did on those is on the hair and nail salon, for having the one unlicensed person working there, they paid a fine and cost of $950, and they're on probation for a year, and the owner paid the fine and cost of $850, and they're on probation for a year. So if you want to make a motion now on the consent agreements on Bobel Limited doing Just Strings, Napoli, DBA Napoli Hair and Nail Salon, and Napoli as the owner, you can make a motion on those. Ms. Morris is back.
Make a motion to accept the consent agreements on Exotic Nails, on
Bell
Limited, DBA Just Strings, Napoli Hair and Spa, and Napoli Wig.
I second.
All in favor?
Opposed? Okay, so we're gonna go back on the record on the, Mr. Nguyen's case. Did you find a translation? No. But no paperwork that would help us or anything?
No, help me here.
Okay. I think, let's talk about what the board wants to do on this one, Ms. Morris, or what you want to do on it. It looks like we do not have any documentation to show that Mr. Nguyen would qualify to be licensed as a student, and the main lack of qualifications is the minimum requirement under law is that you have to have at least 10 years of school. He doesn't have 10 years of school, right?
Correct.
Correct.
I want Ms. Ward to.
Oh, I'm sorry. You need to tell him that.
He doesn't have proof.
He may have.
So,
I have no objection to continuing the hearing to allow Mr. Nguyen to obtain a translation.
yes. Because maybe the translation will say something different. I don't know. I mean, he's got some language barrier issues, and so we'd like a translation of that to show, in fact, what the highest grade he obtained is. So, ask Mr. Wynn if he's willing to get a translation of that for us and come back at another meeting.
Sorry, so that he will get the translation, or you will get the translation?
No, he has to get it.
He will get it.
Anh nói cái gì đấy?
He asked where go to get the translation.
Okay, Ms. Morris is gonna give him some acceptable places.
Information from here. So you have a list here, and this is one, and she's going to give you a list of 2 other places. You pick which one.
And what we're looking for is something that will show us that he went 10 years to school. Okay?
Equivalent of our certificate.
Yeah. Are the equivalent of 10 years in the United States. You know. Okay, do you understand? Okay, Ms. Morris, do we want to tell him when to come back?
I don't know how long it takes to get a translation.
Yeah, I don't either. Why don't we say April 7th, which is the next, schedule it for April 7th, and if you don't have it, if he doesn't have it by April 7th, he can call us and let us know, and we can say, then come back in May. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mình làm sao?
Nếu mà làm xong rồi thì mình cứ đến đây và mình lại tự hơn để ta xem học của anh. Hiểu không?
So is that the motion that we continue it till April 7th to allow Mr. Nguyen an opportunity to get a translation of his diploma in an effort for us to determine whether that's represents an equivalent of 10 years of education in the United States?
Make that motion.
Opposed? Okay. Ms. Morrow, you want to say something?
We really want to help you, but we have to follow the rules of Louisiana. You understand? Tell me.
Mọi người đây là hội đồng xét xử đây là đều muốn giúp anh, nhưng mà nguyên tắc phải kèm theo quy định của ba.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
And thank you, Mr. Scott, for helping.
Thank you.
For
Thank
coming to
you.
help.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You can go. You can go.
Thanks, Ellen.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I got 1,
Difficult time.
2, 3 more consents. There's a salon known as Exotic Nails Number 1. It's on Ryan Street in Lake Charles. It's owned by Tony Van. Tony Van has a manicurist license, and its manager is Lee Van, and she has a manicurist license. This is a consent agreement for 2 violations because they happened within a short period of times of each other. On October 1, 2013, they had 1 unlicensed operator. And on January 18, 2014, they had 1 unlicensed operator. So this consent agreement solves both of those problems. The fine and cost for the salon is $1,350. Finding cost for the owner is $1,250, and the finding cost for the manager is $1,250. And all three licenses are on probation for a year. And those are your last three consent agreements, if you want to make a motion on that.
Motion that we accept the, adopt the, consent agreements as defined by our attorney.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, Ms. Morris, the next item is the executive session discussion. Do y'all want to do that one now, or do you want to?
That's who I was calling. Mr. Short is on his way here.
Okay.
So if you want to take a 10-minute break, I think he'll be
Why
back.
don't we do some?
Why don't we do the lax?
Yeah, let's do all that stuff.
Take a motion to take this out of order. To take
Make a
the
motion that we take correspondence number C out of order. We'll walk through that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ready? Under Executive Director's Report, if you will notice in there is a little notice from Risk Management Compliance Review that states that we passed our compliance review and that we are in compliance with all rules and regulations, and thanking the board for that, and asking, telling us they'd like to work with us in the future. But this is Debbie Johnson, who is taking care of all of this and done a wonderful job. And anyway, I wanted to bring that before the board.
Thank
So
you, Ed.
Thank you very much.
so anyway, the more things we can be in compliance with, the better.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now, on correspondence, representative is here with LAX, and so if you would like to make a presentation, otherwise, the information is before you on the dates, times, and sessions on the LAX conference for this year. If you have any questions, you may ask, but it's a straightforward presentation, and all we're doing is asking that you set those dates and times for the conference.
But we always had the schedule
Yeah, she's,
to approve.
she's, said she would have.
Yeah, I have the class funds already set that I can submit this afternoon. The only thing we just don't have is the entertainment things at work.
That's okay.
Since she's standing up, I'm gonna ask her, she went with me, I went with her, to the Department of Education, and they were inquiring about like career type situations in the schools. And I'll let you give her opinion on how she felt about our meeting with them.
I don't think, it sounded like they weren't really aware of our requirements here of how many hours that they can put in the high school and that they're required to be licensed. They were trying, it sounds like they were trying to put us together with a lot of the programs that the students just receive a certificate, and once they do their hours through the high school, that they finish that program through the high school.
And he wasn't aware that you had to have your diploma before you get
Diploma
there.
before you can receive your license. So I'm not really sure how they're gonna handle our program through the high school, because they weren't aware of a lot of the rules for our state.
Are they gonna come before the board?
I think after we discussed it, he said, well, this seems more like a pharmacy tech program where you're in some of the other programs. It hasn't been listed in the paper when I've read it.
I read the requirements for the start, and they can't do it unless they require it.
But he was very nice, and very easy to talk to, so if there had any questions, he would be glad to answer anything or help us out.
I would think that in consideration of the school is beginning to employ the programs in this board, attempting to anyway, that they might need to get some sort of notice or acknowledgement or letter or informative letter from this board of what they need to do to be eligible, so that student hours won't be a waste of time, earned won't have been wasted. If they, in order for them to apply for licensing.
Well, this would only affect those that are trying to do the 1,500-hour program. So 500 hour, we still.
Yeah, we still have, correct.
Right. I'm thinking.
Thanks, Sam.
Ms. Handy, for the lax, it was just that we were up against, we always asked someone to submit 90 days before. And that was the only reason with the date and times that you might want to, approve the dates and times, and then with the schedule, we can approve at our next meeting if you would like to.
So we don't have a schedule today. Well, just for information purposes, I've been working with Ann and helping her with the people who are going to do the presentations. And they're both excellent. One was recommended by the ACTS people who, this gentleman does classes for the ACTS National Convention, one of them. And the other one is with Pivot Point, which we have had before. So I think it's going to be okay. It's just a matter of building out the actual schedule.
But we can approve it
Tentatively.
and if the hours are not all there, you just have to see that they are.
I'm following the same schedule from last year, and we're just double
Yeah, and they
check.
probably are,
Yeah.
we just
I'm
never
gonna
have
just double
approved
check.
it without one.
Okay.
So I make a motion that we approve it tentatively.
Second, upon receipt of the copy.
That way, that we can at least put on the website the
Right.
dates and people,
Right.
and make a
Yes.
notice to the schools.
Okay.
Do we have a
Second to that,
I'll second.
Carolyn's motion. All in favor? Opposed?
Second correspondence is only the NIC notification of the conference information in North Carolina for your information. And if any of you wish to take that back with you and consider whether or not you would be attending the conference this year, we can do that at the next meeting. But the information is here.
Date.
August 24th.
It's August.
Well, it'd be nice if some of our board members that have never been go. So think about it for members.
The third is a foreign reciprocity. I'm going to defer to Debbie on some of this. This is a foreign reciprocity, but I'm not real sure that the request is to be licensed or to go to school. Which is it? You don't have it either. There's ample translated documents here from India. However, it may be that on a foreign reciprocity, it always takes the board's approval on a foreign reciprocity. And I am assuming that it still contains the 250 hours if they have not completed, if they have not taken the NIC, which they do not give, of course, in India.
Are we
Now,
talking
she
about?
asking for a license or to be licensed in cosmetology?
Well, that's what I can't find here. She sent this information in asking for a foreign reciprocity.
So somebody wrote on here, place on the agenda for March 2004, applicant will bring evaluation of education as soon as she receives it back. Already did 200 hours at Willie Payne Academy.
But this says there's a 390-hour program of post-secondary vocational study in cosmetology, if that's what she completed. If you look on,
Yeah.
Page 1 of 2.
page 1 of 2.
Debbie, did any of y'all kind of figure this out?
I've never even seen this. Nobody told me about
And
this.
this is just one of these receipts that we've gotten. I would assume then that we probably need to postpone this and take a look into what she's actually asking for, so she has to be placed on this agenda. The number 4, Delilah, that's there, has presented a wealth of experience for a makeup permit, but she has not presented an hour that we can see at a school or conference or seminar as toward the 40 hours. She does say at the end of the letter that she would be willing to provide additional information. I would request the board that we require that additional information.
What's the requirements for a
40 hours for makeup permit.
40 hours of education?
Yeah.
And she doesn't have it?
She does not present it here. She only gives experience, and so therefore I would, request that we ask for it.
But she said whatever else we needed, Jim. Well, maybe we just need the letter, now we need more.
Good deal.
But this says she had training as propaganda hair, and everything was lost in her training.
Right.
Is that a school propaganda hair? What is that?
Not with us. I don't know where it would be, but she would have to go back and find some
UK
additional
information.
information.
It may be, like, playing
It's
shop.
in the UK.
In Europe.
Yeah.
Seeking a payment, she called.
It just says there that everything was lost in the flood during Hurricane Katrina.
Right.
And so if she can supply some additional information, it would help us.
Okay.
But it's not a school.
Place of where she works. They say she has an amazing resume and portfolio.
Well, if we can see it, it will certainly help us.
Well, just let her know, we're looking for more.
I have two other items to bring forward, but I would assume then it would need to be at later at the closing of the meeting because it has to do with the budget. If you don't mind, we'll do it.
Okay.
I just received a call from Mr. Shows, who was getting off the interstate, so he's in the neighborhood, I think. Mr. Shows is the attorney that was assigned by the state to represent the board.
Is there an attorney's report, or you're not gonna do that now?
I can do, my report is, other than the litigation, the deadline for pre-filing bills with the legislature has passed, and I did a search to see if any bills that affect the board. We did not file a bill this year. There is House Bill 232, which is, we call the sunset provisions. All state agencies only exist for a limited term, and then they have to be recreated